Yes, good morning, Desmond. Good morning, Bahamas. It's a great start to your Tuesday morning. This morning, we are in the area of Baha Boulevard and John F. Kennedy Drive. Already this morning, bustling traffic continues in the western area of New Providence. As I've observed, many of those vehicles include service vehicles heading into the west, as well as many construction workers and others, essential and non-essential workers. And of course, this morning, we want to salute all workers who contribute to our economy. This morning, we are joined by Sergeant Christinia Johnson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, giving you an initial look at overnight traffic.
And a pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Over the 24-hour period, we've had 9 traffic accidents involving damage and 3 traffic accidents involving injuries. There are no hit-and-run accidents reported and no traffic fatalities. At this time, we do have 10 persons who remain hospitalized as a result of being involved in a traffic accident, one of them who's very ill at this time.
Now, Officer Johnson, I know that you also wanted to make mention of a series of accidents that you've observed just as recent as yesterday that involved some essential vehicles.
Yes, of those 3 accidents that I reported having injuries, 3 of those accidents involved persons that were traveling in emergency vehicles. So we had a mobile vehicle, we also had a fire truck, and we had one of the other government agencies, and all of these persons in these vehicles received some injury. So we again appealing to the motoring public as much as possible. Please do, when you're driving on the street, pay attention. I also want to talk on the fact that when you're traveling in your vehicles, if you're traveling with your radios up or anything that is distracting you, if your radio is up to a volume where you can't even hear yourself, of course, you would not be able to hear a horn or you would not be able to hear the siren of an emergency vehicle. So as much as possible, if you're inside of your vehicles, we're not going to cause you now to not have comfort in your vehicles. But, however, do so with some caution. Understand that when you're on the street, you're not just driving for you, you're using the other persons are using the street, and you need to be able to hear those emergency sirens, and you need to be able to hear the horns.
And of course, before we wrap up this morning, just a note to drivers in areas like this, roundabouts throughout the capital, oftentimes when it's traffic, sometimes you have a few drivers who decide to overtake. Maybe they're in a rush or for whatever reason. And so I'd like you to speak to the issue of concerns when persons overtake at a roundabout or a major intersection, and what are some of those major penalties?
As it relates to overtaking or even switching lanes on the whole, it goes right back to the mere principle. If you are going into somebody else's lane, you want to ascertain your way clear. Putting on your signal is not sufficient. When you put on your signal, you still have to use your mirrors, and you still have to ascertain your way clear before getting into that next lane. Do not, as much as possible, do not bully yourself into that next person's lane. Keep in mind that person may not have seen you, and they might be traveling at a speed not conducive to allow you in front of them. So if you are on the street and you want to ascertain somebody else's lane, please utilize your turning signals, utilize your mirrors, ascertain your way clear before entering into their lane. And when it comes to overtaking, if you overtake more than 2 vehicles, you are in breach of the law. You should only be overtaking 2 vehicles at a time, no more than that. We find that accidents happen where persons are allowed to come out of the corners by other drivers. Drivers overtake those vehicles and collide into them. And then they say, okay, I have the right of way because I'm on the main road. No, that is not the case. If you are driving on the street and you are overtaking an extended amount of vehicles, you're going to find yourself at fault for that traffic accident.
Officer Johnson, thank you so much for that update. Of course, this has been your Tuesday morning traffic report from John F. Kennedy Drive for the morning edition. Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.